So we're really excited to talk to you about some of the key pillars for our game today. First, we're going to talk to you about how you're playing an original Avengers story. And then we'll give you some more details, because we know people have had some questions about how you'll actually play through the game, whether that's solo or online with your friends. We're going to talk about how you can customize your Avengers so you can play the game your way. And then finally, we're going to tell you what we mean when we say embrace your powers. Now, this game is what's next for the Avengers. It's an original story that was crafted in close collaboration with the team at Marvel Games. And if you know Crystal Dynamics, you know that we love telling original stories with iconic characters. We also love all things Marvel. So, just like when we reimagined Lara Croft in Tomb Raider 2013, we're really excited to be able to tell brand new stories with these heroes that we know and love. And for us, the collaboration with Marvel Games is about two things: authenticity and originality. Authenticity because Marvel knows their fans and these heroes better than anyone else. And originality because they want us to tell new stories. They want us to create new powers and to design new looks for these iconic heroes. And what you just played is the beginning of the game. As I mentioned earlier, it's the tutorial level. So you started to get a feel for each hero's unique powers and a glimpse at how they control, all within a very cinematic combat experience. And as you saw, A-Day didn't exactly go as planned. With the destruction of the new helicarrier and much of San Francisco with it, the Avengers are blamed and Captain America is lost. But that's not where this story ends. Because after the Golden Gate Bridge level, we really move away from the tutorials and the quick-time events. The world opens up with expansive spaces, more choices, and the enemy difficulty really starts to ramp up. So you're going to need to reassemble, rebuild, and then customize your roster of heroes in order to defeat an enemy that's truly worthy of the Avengers. Because after the events of A-Day, the Avengers disbanded. And in their absence, a new organization has risen up to take their place, Advanced Idea Mechanics, otherwise known as A.I.M. A.I.M believes that science is going to save the world, not superheroes. So 5 years after A-Day, the world's in a very different place, with superheroes outlawed, all replaced by A.I.M's advanced synthoid AI. Because A.I.M wants to define our future with reason. So they've mobilized an AI force that they believe will protect us from the superpowered. And this force includes our version of classic A.I.M villains, such as the Keeper. You can see the synthoid here. We also have the monotronic Exo, and many, many more. And unraveling this conspiracy is just one part of what we mean when we talk about playing an original Avengers storyline. Because if left unchecked, A.I.M's pursuit of a technocratic utopia is going to result in one of the greatest threats that the Earth has ever faced. So the Avengers, who are now scattered and disbanded, have to reassemble in time to stop them. And you're going to play as our vision of Earth's mightiest heroes. So it means you'll play as Bruce Banner, who questions whether the Avengers are superheroes or simply vigilantes. He blames himself for the events of A-Day, and eventually gets lost in this self-imposed purgatory where he's unwilling to turn back into Banner. You'll play a Tony Stark who's withdrawn from the world. He doesn't have his fortune, his toys, or his tech. He used to be the guy with all the answers, but now he feels like he has none. And even though Black Widow saved the civilians on the Golden Gate Bridge, she doesn't feel like she was there when Cap needed her most. So racked with guilt, she returns to her life as a lone wolf spy. Meanwhile, Thor feels like he failed the Avengers and is no longer worthy of Mjolnir. So he leaves it behind in exchange for a humble life serving the people of Midgard. And finally, Captain America does what he always does, which is sacrifice himself for the greater good. He went down with the helicarrier. And though his absence is felt throughout the story, and he's gone, he is certainly not forgotten. And this story is special because it's not just about saving the world. it's also about saving the Avengers. You're not only rebuilding the team, you're rebuilding the heroes themselves. And how you'll save them, how you'll rebuild them, is a huge part of what makes our original story so unique. And it's why we're incredibly excited to reveal our newest playable hero.
Hey everyone! I'm Hannah McLeod. I'm a narrative designer at Crystal Dynamics and one of the writers for Marvel's Avengers. So Kamala Khan. Kamala is a newer addition to the Marvel Universe. She debuted in 2013 for Captain Marvel number 14 before getting her own solo Miss Marvel series in 2014. Kamala was co-created by Marvel editors Sanaa Amanat and Steve Wacker, writer Jubilo Wilson, and artist Adrian Alfano. In our game, Kamala is one of 6 playable heroes, but she's also our game's protagonist. You first meet her on A-Day, where she's exposed to mysterious Terrigen mist, which gives her extraordinary polymorphic powers. And then 5 years later, with superheroes outlawed and the world in peril, Kamala's been hiding those powers until she unlocks a conspiracy that sets her on the path to becoming the hero she was always destined to be. Kamala's a fangirl. She loves superheroes and the Avengers in particular, but it's that love that puts her at the site of the A-Day disaster, where she gets her powers and the world decides that unchecked superheroes are too dangerous to exist. But, as you saw, Kamala believes the Avengers were framed, and she will do anything it takes to prove that people with powers deserve a place in this world, including her. Speaking of those polymorph powers, Kamala's powers have to do with stretching and morphing her body into crazy shapes. She can also grow to amazing heights, or as she likes to call it, embiggen. These powers introduce a totally new element to our game and make our combat and exploration completely unique. And before you ask, Kamala still writes fan fiction. She still knows everything there is to know about the Avengers, and yes, Captain Marvel is still her favorite. That is something she and our players will have in common. They love these heroes. It's also what makes A.I.M a pretty great villain for them, because A.I.M believes the world would be better off without superheroes, and Kamala disagrees a little bit. In fact, she disagrees so much that she plays an essential part in bringing the disbanded Avengers back together. And as you add each of these heroes to your roster, you'll master their unique abilities, and you'll help restore the Avengers' legendary reputation. That's just a tiny bit of what playing our original Avengers story will be like. And now we'll talk a little bit more about how you'll play.
I love seeing half of the jaws in the room drop when we reveal that trailer. That's awesome. Exactly what we're looking for. So Marvel's Avengers is an adventure that spans the entire globe. As I said, you're going to use a reclaimed helicarrier as your base of operations. And from there, you're going to launch missions into hotspots around the world, both single player and co-op missions. All of this is going to be from your war table. When you open the war table, you're going to see 2 types of missions: hero missions and war zone missions. So let's talk about those. Hero missions are single player only. They're going to showcase a specific hero. This is basically how you're advancing the campaign, but they're also going to unlock additional war zone missions. So over the course of this original story, you're going to constantly unlock and play as the core roster of the Avengers. And once they've rejoined you, then you open more missions that give you dedicated time to explore their gameplay and their individual story. And hero missions also give us great opportunities to build out custom spaces, designed specifically and tailored to showcase each hero's unique traits and what makes them special. So you can imagine huge, wide open environments for Iron Man to rocket around, and plenty of destructible environments for the Hulk to smash. So now let's talk about the war zone missions. because these can be played with any hero in your roster, either in single player or in co-op in teams of up to 4. And Warzone missions are spread across the globe. They've got expansive areas to explore, they've got gear and resources to earn, enemies to battle, and plenty of secrets to find. And there's a wide variety of objectives, game types, and most importantly, they unlock new narrative content. So the more you play of both hero missions and Warzone missions, the more hotspots are going to appear on your war table. And all of these missions are driving the narrative forward in a meaningful way. And all of your heroes' progress is shared across the entire game, so you can move back and forth seamlessly between the mission types. And this blend of story-driven single player and online co-op really gives you the best of both worlds. So to recap, you're going to play the game by choosing hero missions and Warzone missions. Hero missions are single player only. They showcase a specific hero. They're how you progress the main campaign. Warzone missions are playable either solo or co-op in teams of up to 4 players. You can use any hero that you've unlocked in your roster, and they all unlock more narrative content, so you're continually populating your war table with more things to do. So if we take a look at a war table that's a couple hours after the Golden Gate Bridge level that you just finished, you can see that you've started to unlock hero and Warzone missions. But this is just a few, so imagine how this will populate as you get deeper and deeper into the game. And this is only one of the regions. So if you zoomed out, you'd be looking at all of North America. Zoom out again, you're seeing the entire world. And now you're choosing which hotspot to go to next. And this will also give you an idea of how you might choose to play each night. Are you going to drive the narrative forward with the single-player campaign? You're going to jump in with your friends into a war zone, drive the narrative forward that way? You're going to chase after some specific gear, or all the above? And again, it's just a first look at how all this will work. There's a lot more to come in the future, but we really wanted to make it clear because we know you guys had questions about how the game's actually played. So now let's talk about how you're going to customize your roster of Avengers to play your way. First, outfits. You can see we have multiple Iron Man suits, including one of my favorites, Original Sin. But we've also got Black Widow's classic outfit, King Thor, Joe Fixit, and our take on Cap's classic scaled outfit. And this is just to name a few. We have over 80 years of Marvel history to draw from, as well as creating completely new designs. And our outfits are purely cosmetic. They do not impact gameplay. We know that you want to be able to play the way you want to play and look the way you want to look, so it was really important for us to separate the two. And this means you can wear any outfit you like, and it's not going to impact your hero's gear or your skill loadout, which we'll talk about in a moment. Some outfits are earned in game, others you can choose to purchase in our marketplace. So now let's talk a little bit more about our progression system with the skills and gear. First, gear. Because as you explore and you battle through the missions, you're going to earn and upgrade gear that's specific to each hero. It ranges in rarity from common and uncommon all the way up to rare, epic, legendary, and beyond. And what you're seeing now is the current version of our gear system. It's still pre-alpha, so we're subject to change, but we wanted to give you a look under the hood so you can see how things start to come together. And one of the ways that you're going to modify your playstyle and increase your hero's overall power is by unlocking the perks on gear. Perks are unique modifiers that directly change how your hero plays. It's up to you to build out your hero to suit your tastes. And of course, the higher rarity of the gear, the better the perks. And there are also branded gear sets, like Stark Industries gear. It allows you to create builds that have stat bonuses and synergies the more pieces you have equipped. And gear is unlocked by completing missions, challenges, and other objectives. And of course, the best gear is going to require you to do some pretty advanced challenges. And this is all a foundational part of our progression system. It's how we evolve the hero's gameplay over time, especially when we start talking about that later level content. Because when you're going to tackle some of the harder missions or even some boss characters, for example, facing off against Abomination or a rematch against Taskmaster, you're going to need some pretty high-level gear to do that. And the next core element is skills. Because as you play, you're going to unlock points that you can use to acquire new skills and open up new skill trees. And these give you access to new moves and abilities that are unique to each hero. Some of these are classic moves that you'll instantly recognize, either from comics or movies. Others are brand new takes that we've designed based on how we think these heroes should play. And this is important because by unlocking different skills, you're going to change the way your hero functions. For example, Iron Man, as you saw in the demo, starts off with his repulsor attacks. But you can unlock skill trees to access lasers and rockets, and then switch between them on the fly using the D-pads. So you can start to imagine what kind of combos you can string together. Each character also has their own set of special attacks that we call heroics. You saw that in the demo as well. Iron Man had his Unibeam. Hulk had his Thunderclap. And this is just a quick look at our progression system. It's just one of the ways that you'll be able to change how your heroes play. And we'll talk more in the future about things like attributes and intrinsics. For now, we just wanted to give you a taste. So let's talk about how it functions in combat. Because we've got 6 unique heroes. We used to say 5. Now we can say 6 unique heroes. And this is where everything we've just described comes together. It's a big part of what we mean when we say embrace your powers. We're making a game with multiple heroes who all look, feel, and play differently. Because if you think about the Avengers, each one of them is unique. So we think that's how it should feel when you're controlling them. Because some of our heroes are melee masters. Others excel at ranged attacks. We've got aerial combat, ground combat, and then we layer on top weapons, powers, gadgets, abilities, and more. And to make it all work, we've got a highly flexible combat system. It supports multiple play styles. So when you play as Iron Man, you're going to feel like a flying arsenal. And when you play as Hulk, you're going to feel like an unstoppable freight train, weaponizing the environment around you, smashing enemies into each other. And when you play as Kamala Khan, you're going to use your incredible polymorphic powers to attack distant enemies, whip your limbs into the enemies surrounding you, and then smash enemies with a huge boot or fist. All very exciting. And it's where that progression system really shines, because each hero has their own unique moves and combats for you to master. Based on how you build your character, you're going to unlock even more combos. And this is important because it means you can build your heroes to support your playstyle. Now, Scott seems to think that the best way to play Thor is as a ranged attack, using AoE lightning attacks to keep the crowd at bay. So he's always putting his skill points into making sure his heroics are refreshing faster and faster. I, on the other hand, know that the best way to play Thor is the melee master. So I buff up all of my defense, I can absorb a ton of damage, and I can wade into combat like a tank, wielding Mjolnir like a wrecking ball. However you want to play, the right way or the wrong way, it's up to you. And all the stuff that we're talking about, the gear, the progression system, the stats, they all work together so that you can customize your heroes to play the way you want to. And to be clear, we want to make sure that anyone can pick up the game and play. You don't have to dig into those specifics if you don't want to. You can jump onto the controls and feel like a superhero right out of the gate. But for those fans who do want to go deep into the system, who do want to min-max their builds, that depth is there. That's embracing your powers. All of this is just a first look at this world that we're building. There's so much more to share regarding the story and the missions, the characters and the systems that support them. Because as you know, after launch, the narrative and the gameplay content are continuing to unfold for multiple years. And we want all of our fans to go on this journey with us. So every new region and every new hero that we release is at no additional cost. Now, over the next few months, we can't wait to go into more details on our story and the heroes, a little bit more deep dive into A.I.M, and we'll also next year talk to you about co-op. So we know you have questions. How are heroes at different levels going to play together? How does matchmaking work? We promise those answers are all coming. But for now, here's a quick look at how you'll jump into your Quinjet with your friends and and head to some of the wide open spaces a little later in the game. This is what's next for the Avengers. You're going to play a completely original Avengers story. Whether solo or online with your friends, you're going to customize your roster of heroes so you can play the way you want to play with our progression systems, perks, and our skills. And now you know what we mean when we say embrace your powers. Now, we've also announced our partnership with PlayStation. It means that PS4 players do get early access to the beta, along with a few other surprises we'll reveal later. And for everyone, Marvel's Avengers releases on May 15th, 2020. That's on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia. Look at each platform that we're developing for, and we try to make sure that we're delivering the best experience possible. So we knew what we were getting into with the platform, and we think we've got a great plan in place.
You can play through the entire experience single player if you want to. Now, obviously, if you want to download the new content, the new heroes, any of that, you'll have to obviously log on online. But we've developed the game so that all of the content is available for you to play single player, and most of the content is available for you. If the servers are down, yes, provided you had that initial, the disk and everything, then you would still be able to enjoy it, yes. But our servers will never go down.
Thanks, everyone.